We should always be careful not to reflexively, unthinkingly identify a first person narrator with the author of that piece. Just because a piece of prose fiction is presented with a narrator who says, I, doesn't mean that that narrator is the same as the person who wrote this book. This is always true. Chaucer and Ben, in their different ways, have narrators, first person narrators, who in some sense are them, but are fictitious versions of them. Even that shouldn't be trusted. To think that Swift and Gulliver are the same person, or alike in almost any way, is a huge mistake. These two characters could not be more different. In fact, Gulliver is not simply a narrator who is by definition not the same as the person who wrote the book. He is an unreliable narrator. He is a narrator we are supposed to be smarter than because he's extremely stupid. Gulliver is a moron. He is a fool. He is a dupe. There's an old joke that this book should be called Gullible's Travels. Is he unreliable in the sense that we don't believe that there is a place called Lilliput? We were never going to believe there's a place called Lilliput. Of course not. Is he an unreliable narrator in that we think that the 6-inch people of Lilliput or the talking horses or the Houyhnhnms are his delusions? No. To the extent that anything happens in a work of fiction, anything really happens, I think the journeys really happen. Gulliver has actually been to these places. He's an unreliable narrator because he doesn't get everything that's going on, and we do, that we often laugh at him. Swift is not stupid. Swift is a highly educated intellectual. He is very much tied in to the political and cultural and religious networks of his day. He is a clergyman in the Church of England, the official government-sanctioned church. He is part of he's part of a political party. When he writes Gulliver's Travels, he's very much a committed Tory. He's a member of the Conservative Party that still exists in British Parliament today, for now. Things are a little crazy there. I'd kind of like to see Swift write up some of what's been going on in Britain this summer. In fact, over the course of his career, Swift was in both political parties. He started out as a Whig, he got mad and switched over to the Tories, and he routinely makes fun of Whig politicians, Whig policies, Whig ideas. Gulliver is in various ways coded as a Whig in ways that maybe aren't that important to us and that we're going to miss. Where he went to college, which college at which university he went to, where his hometown is, various things like that. Wiggy Wig, Whig, Gulliver, because the jokes are him. He's the other party, the jokes are on him. Part of how Swift makes his career is as a polemicist and especially a satirist for political parties. He serves the leaders of political parties by kind of mocking their enemies and is rewarded for his service to the party, though never as much as he really thinks he should be. He would like to be a bishop in England. Instead, he's a cathedral dean in Ireland. What you gonna do? But he's not stupid. He's a satirist. The 18th century is a great era for satire and parody, for these genres that are about mockery. Parody mocks a kind of form. Parody is mockery of a kind of art. Isn't that music silly? Aren't those detective novels kind of goofy and stereotyped? Let's laugh at the cliches. Satire is an attack on actual institutions and sometimes people in the world. It can be intellectual, look at those idiots, and it can be moral. Look at those vile criminals in power. Satire is funny, but is often powered by real anger and outrage. Swift has a furnace of outrage that just keeps him motivated well into his old age until he becomes too ill to write. He is smart. He is politically tuned in. Gulliver is dumb and naive. Gulliver looks around and lacks basic things of critical thinking. Yes, he's a great observer. He writes down his longitude all the time. He takes measurements of things. But he also takes other people at their own valuation. When he leaves at the end of the first voyage, when he leaves Blefuscu and Lilliput both behind, he says, I don't want to be the bone of contention between two such mighty monarchs. Which mighty monarchs is he talking about? The mighty monarchs of Lilliput and Blefuscu, who together, standing on each other's shoulders, are not quite 1 foot tall. They're the opposite of mighty monarchs. They are tiny. But Gulliver, wherever he goes, as the anthropologist says, goes native. He takes on the perspective of the place he's visiting and of those locals and sees the world their way without even weighing it. Even takes on the implausible things. He takes his Lilliputian noble title as a Nardak very seriously. He takes the Emperor of Lilliput very seriously. The Emperor of Lilliput is not to be taken seriously because, and I don't think this is a moral issue, because the man is so very small. Mighty, great. These are the opposites of what he is. And at one point, when he's being congratulated, when Gulliver's being freed by the Emperor of Lilliput, and even the title Emperor is ludicrous, it's a joke. Gulliver says, and then there were more things that I won't say, lest I be accused of vanity. As if, you're bragging about how far in the good credit of the mighty Emperor of Lilliput you are. No person outside Lilliput and Blefuscu, nobody of normal human size, is going to be impressed that you're in high favor with the Emperor of Lilliput. It is not a special thing to be in the high favor of the Emperor of Lilliput if you are 6 feet tall. Anybody could do it. I don't want to be accused of vanity. There are various times in both of the voyages, we'll read the first one and the last one, where Gulliver has been sucked into this perspective of those around him and he drinks the Kool-Aid extremely uncritically. It is mostly hilarious in the first voyage. It is hilarious, but also quite dark and troubling in the last voyage.